Hi, Danny Morrison here for the Danny Morrison Expert Comments alongside Rario.com and a couple of white ball titans. Australia up against Sri Lanka, the Ring of Fire in Dubai, and look forward to this one because it was match 22 here at the ICC Men's T20 World Cup for 2021. And when I look at Australia, they're looking to bounce back. They've had a tough time of it in T20 in the last sort of 6 to 8 months. Given it was COVID and then going to Bangladesh and struggling and having different players come and go and resting players, the Aussies, they've been on the thumping end from particularly the Bangla Tigers in recent times. Now then, the toss went the way of Aaron Finch, no surprises. They get fired up and want to bowl. And when I look at this, I think for me, Dubai, in all the years I've been coming here to the UAE, it is the best surface. It tends to slide on better. In test matches, yes, they can make it spin and what have you, but I think for white ball cricket, for me, it's the most consistent with a bit of pace and bounce, and it gives a little bit to bowler and batter. If you bowl well and you bowl in good areas, clearly, you're going to have a chance. Well, I can tell you that opening partnership of 63 between Kushal Perera and Sri Lanka, whilst it was useful, it really did need to go on, and it simply wasn't to be, because the Aussies did start to find their mojo. When I think Sri Lanka got 35, so did Kushal Perera, but you need to kick on. And so you got 3 scores in the 30s, because the other chap, Rajapaksa, he got to 33 not out from 26, whilst he hit 4 fours and a 6. There really wasn't enough energy and momentum to go into the back half of the innings, because they simply were losing key wickets. Started well, mind you, Sri Lanka. They did start well with their opening partnership, but again, no one to get enough substance into the innings. And when you only get 154 for 6, personally, from my corner, I really think they were a good 35 to 40 short, given the nature of the surface, under lights as a night game and the ball sliding on. From an Aussie's perspective, the bowling was pretty good. Stark started off a little bit ginger. He was just sort of loping in and just trying to find his rhythm and got pumped in his first over. But he came back well, 2 for 27 and 4. And I look at the bowling figures, 11 dots and what have you. These guys did bowl well. You look at Pat Cummins, 2 for 34 from 4, 10 dots. Standout was clearly Adam Zampa. And again, pace off. Everyone loves a wristy. You want to get a wrist spinner into it. And like he got, his figures are 2 for 12 from 4 with a dozen dots. That's top shelf, really top class, and limited Sri Lanka to that 154 for 6. So in reply, everyone was just wondering about how would Davey Warner find some form. He tried to silence the critics, had a very tough time in the Indian T20 League. So when I look at it, he needed to get runs. And you look at Finch and Warner with an opening stand of 70, it set the tone. And of course, Warner kicked on with a half century. A little bit of Smith, he was not out there, 28, not out, and very workmanlike and sensible to see things through. And a little bit of Stoinis at the end, there was 16 not out off 7, pumped to 6 and what have you, and a couple of 4s. But for me, the massive standout was Davey Warner in terms of 65 from 42, 5 4s and 2 6s. In terms of getting into that was Finch giving it plenty. But when I look at Warner a bit more, he didn't go and smash a maximum. He stuck to his guns. He hit 10 4s and played beautifully. Played within his range, and I think watch out for him. He's got his mojo back, and Australia could be very, very tasty in the end. A little bit of Hasaranga, but when you look at that, you're 2 for 22. The wrist spinning all-rounder. But when I look at Chimera and Chamika, bowl too full. If you bowl too full, you're going to get met. And they got pumped down the ground beautifully by Warner and Finch early on. They really were taken apart. And Lahiru as well. When you're trying to swing it, I get it. But if you just miss those lengths, and given it's T20 and given it's in Dubai, you're going to disappear. So when I look at man of the match, as I mentioned, Adam Zampa stood out with his wrist spin, set the tone, set the scene with those couple of wickets for 12 runs. Extraordinary. They did it with 18 balls to spare to the dear old Aussies, and they were only 3 down. Look out for Australia. If you like this, ticket, subscribe and join. We'll see you soon on Rario.com.